9 Sundays left until the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cowboys face off on the first Sunday Night Football game of 2022. Now, there's quite a bit of news to get into, especially for the Cowboys. The Cowboys made a signing, which is like really exciting, but hold your horses. They signed a kicker, and actually it's an old face they signed with kicker Liam Hairulahu. He bounced around, had a couple cups of tea with the Cowboys last year when Greg Zuerlein was coming back from his back surgery. Now, Liam and Jonathan Garibay, that's the UDF the Cowboys signed as their kicker, are going to have a kicking competition. And I say competition because we know how this goes. Bones Fossil, who's the Cowboys special teams coordinator, likes guys that he has already worked with before. When Zuerlein came in, the Cowboys had Kai Forbath already. They said there would be a kicking competition. There wasn't. It was Kai Forbath, see you later. Here comes Zuerlein. He's got the job. And last year didn't look good, and they released Zuerlein. Here comes Jonathan Garibay, and now here comes Liam. Liam has worked with Coach Fossil in the past. That could give him a leg up in a situation like this. But as of right now, Liam Hairulahu is on the Cowboys roster. Some interesting news happened as both the number 1 and number 2 overall picks of 2018 are now on the same team, as Carolina Panthers have traded for Baker Mayfield for a conditional 5th round pick. Now, what does this mean for Sam Darnold? He's still going to make his money. They picked up his 5th-year option, so that's guaranteed. So does Baker Mayfield. He took a pay cut, however, of about $3.5 million. The Panthers wanted him to take a bigger pay cut than that, but he took a $3.5 million pay cut. The Browns were interested in paying a majority of his salary anyway. They were in the echelon of, when this trade was about to get done near the draft, they were willing to take 13, 14 million. Here they took about 10. So, it's not all terrible. And now, I put the word, if you can't tell how I'm describing this, I put the word probable in there to make this, or possible, because that's not exactly true. You can pay a guy, but the way the Browns have it for Baker Mayfield, and the fact that it's a rookie contract, he would have to take a pay cut. He's not necessarily taking a pay cut, but they're moving $3.5 million into like bonus or something like that. That just the fancy way they say a pay cut. They could be doing that. Still giving his money, just moving it. The mayor of Chicago is interested in putting a dome over Soldier Field. This is to try and keep the Chicago Bears in Chicago. The Bears are willing to move to Arlington, Illinois. Now, the concern, I think, is there's so much history with it being in Chicago, an open stadium, to allow the Windy City to affect the game. And now they want to put a dome over it. I would not mind it. But if you're a historian of the game, I could see why you would be on the other side of it. To me, every stadium should have a dome, especially the stadiums that are in inclement weather, like Foxborough, Chicago, like places that it's going to be bad. Minnesota all those years had that open door stadium, then created a dome, and then when that dome collapsed, they went back in the old stadium, and it was dreadful because the stadium was so bad. It was cold. We're in December, minus like 20 degrees with the wind. It's awful. I would not mind putting a dome over, but I think there would be a lot of people who would disagree with me. The Ravens, the Ravens have re-signed legendary pass rusher Justin Houston to a 1-year contract. This would be his 12th year in the league. We don't know exactly how much the money will be, but we do know what we said back in July, how the Ravens put a rare tenure on Justin Houston, that if anyone decided to sign him, they would get a first-round pick out of it. So it would be a big thing. But no one signed him, so he signs back on a 1-year deal. Jameis Winston, he is now throwing without a knee brace, which is big news. Winston got injured in the first game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that ended his season. And for the Saints, they need Jameis Winston. They don't have anybody else that is competitive enough that you can go and say, hey, we can go win with this guy. I mean, at least with Jameis Winston, he has talent. We'll see how he works under Dennis Allen, but at least we know he has talent. Another Cowboys signing, and this is a player you might not have heard of. The Cowboys signed expatriate Christian Sam, formerly of the USFL. He had bounced around quite often, but he is adding depth to this Cowboy linebacker position. Randy Moss is no longer going to be a part of ESPN's Monday Night Football coverage. This is not a firing of Randy Moss. He did not get fired from ESPN. He is still employed. According to ESPN, this was his decision. To me, everyone says, well, they were bad. Yes, I know they were bad. But there isn't a whole lot to go off of to say it was good, because they had just a craziness of people. Too many people were involved. We don't have a good broadcast crew. No one was interested. So when you have a guy who has to come in, who is a football player, create crazy takes, people aren't going to care for it too much. The people that are watching. But what do you think? Should Randy Moss have continued for Monday Night Football, or did he make the decision and get out?